Welcome to the next video. This video is about BLDC motor. There are so many doubts regarding motor of drone, of UAV. So we want to give a small lecture on BLDC. So I hope you remembered, we told you the last time the full form of BLDC, that is brushless DC motor. Okay, that's why BLDC, BLDC motor. I will try to give you a brief introduction of motors. What are the motors, and what is the height, what is the width, how can we calculate which motor is efficient or which motor is not efficient, how to compare two BLDC motors. So first of all, what is motor? You know what is motor? So simple, the motor is giving us a movable mechanism. To get movable mechanism, we need motors. So what you want to move? Basically propeller. Okay, so you can say an electric motor is an electric machine that convert electric energy into mechanical energy. So one side we are giving a power, or you can say energy. Other side it is giving us a motion, physical motion, or you can say mechanical motion. So let me rub it because it's not visible else. So you can see most electric motor operates through the interaction between the motor's magnetic field and electric current in a wire winding to generate force. So with this interaction, we are generating force in the form of torque applied on the motor shaft. So we are generating some kind of force in the form of torque that could be generated on motor shaft. So motor shaft help us to rotate anything. Like suppose you want to pump the water, so we can use some kind of some kind of operator to on shaft to just push the water. Okay, so you can say this kind of you can use the shaft for different purposes. Like generally when you see the fan or in the turbine, so we are using some kind of blades to rotate the motor. We just rotate the air, we just pass the air. So motor are the device which make robot movable. Now we are talking in terms of robot. The motor is the component that help us to make your robot movable. So electric motor are used to actuate things, actuate robot things. So when we are saying na, there's one sensor is there and one actuator is there. So sensor is basically, you can say it's the input part, actuator is basically output part. So actuator is the main use we can do with the help of motors. It can actuate robot things such as wheel, leg, track, arm, finger, sensor, turret, camera. All these things can rotate with the help of motor. Suppose you can think like how camera is moving, how camera is used with motor. So like we are using some kind of gimbal. Maybe like you can see when we want to rotate a camera from one position to other position, then we can use a motor to rotate the camera. Next, we can see type of motors. So I think we have already covered. So DC motor, direct current, alternate current, servo and stepper. DC have different variety, brushless and brushed motor and geared motor. Okay, so servo and stepper basically used for if you want to move it for particular angle of movement. You don't want to move whole 360 degree. You want to move only 35 degree, then you can use this kind of motors. And if you want to rotate completely 360 degree, then you can use any kind of DC or AC motors. Okay, and again there is a comparison between brushed and brushless motor. So what we are normally watching in our nearby, in our household and all these things, so that is basically a brushed motor. Okay, I'm just showing you one small video. If it is allow me to
Depending on your
play.
application
Yeah.
requirements, you may be able to gain additional efficiency by choosing either a brushed or a brushless motor. Brushed motors have simplified wiring. They can be wired directly to DC power, and control can be as simple as a switch. They are also typically the less expensive than brushless motors. However, brush motors are less efficient. The switching action of the commutators constantly creating and breaking inductive circuits creates a great deal of electrical and electromagnetic noise. Brushes and commutators also eventually wear out due to being in perpetual physical contact with the shaft. On the other hand, brushless motors tend to have a longer lifespan as they have no brushes to wear out. This also means that there is less maintenance required as there are no brushes to replace. They are also more efficient than brushed motors, typically featuring 85 to 90% efficiency compared to a brush motor's 75 to 80% efficiency. This difference in efficiency means that more of the total power used by the motor is being converted into rotational force rather than being lost as heat. However, brushless motors tend to carry a higher initial cost as they require a commutating device such as an encoder and a drive or a controller.
So I think it is clear. If not, I can just explain it again. So you can say this is an example of brushed motor, and this is an example of brushless motor. Not example, you can say it's a inside function, how it is working. So you can say this is the binding, okay, and this is the north and south pole magnetic field, okay, and this is, they are saying this yellow one is called a brushes, okay. So this motor is moving, basically this rotator is moving in this field, okay. So with this they are generating a torque that can help us to rotate a shaft, clear. But in this you will see, in this basically the inner part is rotating, but here outer body is rotating. Here where the binding is there, that part is rotating, but here binding part is not rotating, that is fixed. So I'll tell you the more like clear view in the coming slide. So you can see this view is called generated field magnet, where the field magnet is generated around the movement, and you can see we can control this motor with the help of ESC, and battery you can use to give a power. Okay, let me show you one more clear picture for comparison. So in brushes and brushless, windings are present on the rotor for a brushed motor, that rotating part. So we are showing that binding is there. In place of in brushless they are saying the rotor part is outside, but binding are inside. Okay, this is called stator, and this is called rotor part. Okay, so efficiency wise, what I would just before the video told by that efficiency wise, brushless motor are more efficient, typically 85 to 90% efficient, as compared to brushless is 75 to 80%. So the next question is very simple. What is efficiency? So efficiency is, if you are, suppose you are giving some power to the motor, so how much power is used to generate in the force or torque, and how much power is generating in the loss as a heat. So they are generating 85 to 90% in a torque and remaining 10 to 15% for heat. In this case, it is 25 to 20 to 25% in terms of heat. So simple, this the life of brushless is also higher. Brushes brushless most motor last longer because there are no brushes to wear. There are no brushes to wear. I showed you the brushes, that brushes is not existing in the brushless motor, while the brushes motor wear out quickly. So this is the picture of BLDC motor. So you can see this is the basically stator part and this is the rotor part. So this outer part is rotating. In the outer part there is no brushes. In the rotor part there is no brushes. In place of brushless motor, they have they have windings on rotor part, but they don't have any binding. They have only have magnetic field. So two major components, one is stator, one is rotor. Stator is the stationary part of the motor with windings, and the rotor is rotatory part of the motor, bell with magnets. You can see all places are covered with magnets. So also there are a lot of other minor things such as bearing, coil, magnet shaft are there, the same as a normal motor, brushed motor. So here's the rotor is a permanent magnet. It need no current, obviating the requirement for brushes and commutator. In order to control the rotation, we can adjust the magnitude and direction of the current. To control the rotation, we can adjust the magnitude and direction of the current into those stationary coils from the outside. We can define the rotation from outside. We can control it, in which flow, in which direction the, the rotor will move, either clockwise or either anti-clockwise. Then the next term is motor size. So there are so many motor sizes are coming in the market. I hope you have seen the four numbers like 22, 80, 22, 18. There are multiple size of motors are coming in the market. And to just tell you what is the meaning of the four numbers. So basically motor size depend on stator size. What is the size of stator? What I've told you the stator before that, the stationary part. Okay. So you can see this is the stator. Okay. So the stator basically have two components. One is width and second is height. One is width and second is height. Okay. So depend on that, we can tell you which motor is bigger, which motor is smaller. There's one small formula is there. I will tell you in the coming time. So there are other component you can see. There's the bearings, same as other motors. There's the windings with the, you can see with the stator part. There is the binding. There's the binding. Okay. This is a shaft where we can put any fan or anything, or propeller maybe. There's a permanent magnet which will help us to generate the torque. Clear? This is the outside motor bell, motor cover, and this is the stator part. Okay, so depend on motor size, it's depend on two parameter, diameter and height. The object diameter and height, or not object, basically stator diameter and height. So for example, I'm just telling you what is the meaning of four numbers. If a motor number is 2212, 2212, it means the stator is 22 millimeter in the width, Suppose this is the structure. Sorry for that, I am just bad in drawing. So, okay, so suppose this is the motor stator. Okay, so this 22 mm is basically a diameter, you can say, or you can say width of the stator. It is 22 mm, and the height is this one. The height is 22 mm. Sorry, 12 mm. 22 is the width and 12 is the height. Simple. So now we can see what is the formula to calculate which motor is more efficient. So before that, we have to know what is kV. Mostly you know about that kV. The speed at which motor rotates from every volt applied to the motor, that is basically called kV in theoretical way. This is the like perfect definition to calculate that theoretically how much kV motor is there. Clear? So the speed, basically the speed at which motor rotate for every volt. If we're applying 1 volt, then what is the speed? 2 volt, what is the speed? So that is basically for every volt applied, what is the speed of motor, that called kV. So kV refers to not kilowatt or something like that. It's called constant velocity. Constant velocity. What is the speed of the motor? Okay. So we cannot say high velocity motor is always good or low velocity motor is always good. It depends on application, what application you want to, what is the purpose. Okay, so constant velocity is not any abbreviation like any acronym of kV. It's basically CV, but we are calling it as a kV. So don't confuse like kV to kilowatt. It's a kV refers to constant velocity. So it is measured by number of revolution per minute that a motor turns when 1 volt is applied. Suppose in 1 volt it is saying it will give you 300 rpm rotation per minute, then we can say it's around 300 kV volt. Okay, but this rpm is should be came when there is no load. Only motor is rotating without any outside load. You cannot put any kind of propeller or any kind of load. Yes, it's obvious when we are applying load, this rotation per minute will reduce. But when we are calculating kV, it should be calculated without applying any load. So example, a 1000 kilowatt motor. We are saying generally 1 kilowatt motor, 1000 kV motor, so will generate 1000 rpm per volt, and if we apply 2 volt, then it will give you 2000 revolution per minute. If we are applying 5 volt, it will give us 5000 rotation per minute, but the condition will be same without load. As we are increasing load, the number of rotation will reduce. Okay, so typically racing drones use high kV motors that can spin a small propeller to higher speed. The racing drone basically use high kV motors that can spin a smaller propeller, like small size propeller to high speed. Basically in racing drone we need high high speed motors or high speed propellers. The drone is faster and agile. Now we can see the example. For example, if a motor is 2300 kilowatt with a 3S quadcopter battery motor applied to its end, okay, 2300 kilowatt motor with a 3S quadcopter. So you can see first example we can take, if suppose 3 volt applied with 2300 kilovolt. And what is the RPM? RPM is basically 2300 into 3, that is simply 3003 into 39 326, 6900 RPM. But I'm just telling you one example. This is example is different. Basically telling you what is the efficiency of motor. For example, if a motor is 2300 kilowatt, the 3S quadcopter battery motor applied to its end, then the motor will spin at 2300 into 12.60 into 28,980 RPM. I am telling you basically in case of I'm telling you basically in the case of uh, 3 volt, but actually we have to calculate what is the voltage supply of this 3S motor. Okay, what is the voltage what is the input voltage of 3S uh, battery? Okay, so what is that? So generally the 1S battery is giving you 4.2 volt. So 3S will give you 12.6 volt. So that's why in this case we are multiplying with 2300 into 12.6 volt, that is 28,980 RPM. Again without load. Without propellers, okay? So, but if you go for theoretical, like generally they are saying 1S in quadcopter battery represent 3.7 volt. But we are actually charging, when we are charging it, it is giving us 4.2 volt. So that's why I've taken 4.2. If you want to go with theoretically, then you can simply use 2300 into 3.7 into 3. Why 3? Because 3S battery are there. So you can multiply and you can see what are the number. Then, so this is the basically rotation per minute. We can get calculated which one is giving us higher one. Now we can see the benefit and losses of the taller and wider stators. So basically taller stator, if the stator is taller, then it will give you higher top speed and terrible low speed handling. So basically higher top speed and terrible low speed handling. And in next case, if it is wider state, it is lower top speed and better handling at lower speed. Lower top speed and better handling at lower top speed. The taller stator have the largest magnet as compared to smaller and wider stator. It's clear now? Like suppose you have a taller one and you have one smaller one. So in this, the magnetic field is this one, and in this, the magnetic field is this one. It's very simple. So we can calculate a volume of a motor. So we can calculate the volume of a motor. I hope you know what is the formula of that. So simple, pi r square into height. R is radius, pi is 3.14, h is height. So suppose we are taking one example 2306, then pi is 3.14. What is r? R is diameter divided by 2. Diameter is 23. 23 divided by 2, and it is power square. So 23 by 2 into 23 by 2 into h. H is the height. Height is 6. Clear? You can see volume 3.14 into 23 by 2 into 23 by 2 into 6. That is 2492. 2492. 92. And same in case of 2207, 3.14 into 11 into 11 into 7, that is 2660. So you can see a motor with taller stator have the highest number of with the higher volume. Is it clear? So basically it depends on combination. If it is like stator is too less wider, okay, not wider, then you can say the volume will be again less. In case of like if it is having too much taller. So assuming all of the variable are equal, then double 207 would have more torque since stator volume is factor of a motor torque. So basically volume will define who have maximum torque. So we can see which motor have highest volume. We can use that motor for the high torque if you need high torque. Thrust to weight ratio, I think I covered in the previous lecture. I can just give you brief. So ratio they indicate the performance. What is the performance of the motor? So ratio is basically thrust divided by weight, F divided by W. Thrust is representing by force. Weight is basically W. So F is basically MA, that's mg. So basically A by Z. So ratio should be required one greater than 1 can accelerate vertically. If the ratio is not greater than 1, then it will be not working. I told you na yesterday in the last lecture, like the ratio should be around 1.5 to 2 to better movement in the wind conditions. That is same ratio we are telling you. At least it should be greater than 1.0. So if ratio is increasing, then climb rate will increase. It is important that your motor can produce around 100% more. It is telling you around ratio should be greater than 2. Thus, then the total weight of your drone. For example, 600 gram, we need 1.2 kg of thrust, what we have covered in the last one. So extra thrust will help you to help you in wind and during aggressive flight maneuver. Last, there's simple definitions are there. I just covered it fastly. The torque is a spinning force on the or the rotatory force that spin the propeller. Basically, it will give you force to how fast you want to move. The motor torque is affected by factors such as stator size. Bigger the stator, higher the torque. Material, this quality of magnet and copper winding, and motor consumption factors such as air gaps between stator and motor. The motor construction factor also depend such as air gaps between stator and rotor. Higher the torque produced by the motor responsive the quad will perform. If your torque is higher, then your drone will respond fastly according to the instruction. So I'm just telling you one example. It's very well famous example is there. You were an engine. You are trying to drive a nail into a wall. So basically, speed is how many times you hit the nail in a minute. So that's what I'm saying. Na? 60 meter per second, or you can say 60 revolution per minute. That is basically speed. And torque basically how hard you are hitting the nail, like how much force you are applying to insert the nail inside the wall. So that is the basic comparison between speed and torque. So common sense would tell you that higher the torque, the lesser number of hit the nail to go in. Likewise, if torque is less, you would need more speed. You can get either you can get higher speed, less torque, or higher torque, less speed. It's better if torque is available at lower speed. Generally, this is a favorable condition for the all motor. If torque is available at lower speed. With lower speed, we have a higher torque. That's a great one. This is the formula of power, how we are getting power. So basically both are directly, like you can say, directly multiplying to get the power. If any one component is higher, we'll get the maximum power. So for a given power, torque and speed have an inverse correlation. If anything is higher, we'll get higher. There are so many, there are one or two resources from where we have taken the overview. Udemy course. There's one course on Udemy, like it's a open source zone, so you can get a overview from that. This is my social media handler. Thank you for listening my lecture. I hope you like it.